everyone, and welcome to another episode of All Access with the Profs. I'm Jake Clark alongside Leo West, and with the NJAC tournaments all wrapped up, the Profs have their eyes set onto bigger and better things.
Bigger and better things indeed. Jake, both soccer teams are in the NCAA tournament. Football may make the playoffs, and they've made a bowl game, and volleyball also waits if they have a chance to extend its season. With all that being said, the Profs are now locked in as November rolls on.
Yeah, we're all on a roll here on All Access with the Profs. And coming up, Stephen Wilczynski takes a look at men's soccer's big playoff run. Plus, Shane Alexa takes a look around the NJAC, and Jacob Michaud will have his magic minute. Rowan's dialed in as the fall sports seasons come to a close, and the winter seasons are just beginning. One fall sports team looking to keep it up is the men's soccer team. Rowan had a few games in the great state of Connecticut at Wesleyan University. Will the Profs be able to keep stacking up wins? To find out, here's Stephen Wilczynski.
Thanks, guys. The Rowan men's soccer team took their talents to the NCAA tournament this past weekend. The Profs defeated Bridgewater State 1-0 in the first round on Saturday, and the Profs carried their momentum over to Sunday, defeating number 11 ranked Wesleyan 2-0. On Saturday, Johnny Troiano was the lone goal scorer for the Profs. In net, Travis Holliday recorded 5 saves and tallied his 6th shutout of the season. On Sunday, the Profs rallied over host Wesleyan with goals from Kirill Asanji and Johnny Troiano. Travis Holliday was in net again for the Profs, checking off another shutout on the stat sheet. The Profs are set to face Emory this Saturday in the 3rd round of the NCAA tournament in Lynchburg, Virginia. I'm Stephen Wilczynski reporting from the soccer complex. Back to you guys in the studio.
Thanks, Stephen. Women's soccer started its national championship campaign against the 16th-ranked Misericordia. The last time these two teams met was 7 years ago at a neutral site where the Profs lost 3-1. Times have certainly changed since then, and to see if Rowan's season continues, Sydney Chella has the latest.
Thanks, Jake and Leo. Last weekend, the Profs traveled to Christopher Newport University where they competed in the NCAA tournament. The Profs battled hard, winning Game 1 in penalty kicks, but ultimately falling in Game 2 by just 1 goal. The Profs took on Misericordia on Saturday in their first game of the NCAA tournament. It was Olivia Giordano who broke the offensive silence for the Profs when she scored the first goal of the game in the second half. Misericordia bounced back to tie the game later on, sending the game into what would become double overtime and eventually a shootout, where the Profs pulled ahead 4-3 in penalty kicks. But on Sunday night, the Profs battled hard against Penn State Harrisburg. The game remained scoreless until, with 1 minute and 22 seconds left in the game, junior Kylie Yap tapped in a goal for the Lions to defeat the Profs with a score of 1-0. This marks the end of the season for the Rowan women's soccer team. The team's finishing with a record of 13-2-5 on the year, in addition to being 7-0-2 in conference play. The team made appearances in both the NJAC and NCAA tournaments this year. From Rowan Soccer and Lacrosse Complex, I'm Sydney Chella, All Access with the Profs. Back to you.
Thanks, Sydney. Field hockey has a rematch with the Lynchburg Hornets in the first round of the NCAA tournament. When Rowan played the Hornets last on October 5th, the Profs beat Lynchburg in overtime. Logan Stewart tells us if the Profs could beat the Hornets when it mattered the most.
Thanks, guys. The Rowan field hockey team was eliminated in the first round of the NCAA tournament by the Lynchburg Hornets as the Profs lost 3-2 at home. It was a rough go for the Profs as they were down 3-0 at halftime. Rowan couldn't get anything going as Lynchburg goalkeeper Shay Schoons had 8 saves for the Hornets. In the second half, Sydney Kowalczyk scored 2 goals to try and claw the Profs back in the game, but time ran out for a historic comeback.
I just told them in the locker room, I just loved coaching them. I think they are just wonderful people. They have made this season so enjoyable, and to do some of the things that we did, it's very difficult to do, and what we do, it's hard, but it's special.
I mean, it's awesome. We have a great group of girls, and everyone really played their hearts out this season. And I mean, it feels great to have those 4 NJACs under our belts, and I really hope that these girls are able to continue that legacy. But I mean, everyone did so great this season. I love these girls.
The Profs finished the year at 16-6 while also having an undefeated record in the NJAC at 6-0 while clinching their 5th straight NJAC championship. From SB Gymnasium, I'm Logan Stewart with All Access with the Profs and sending it back to the studio.
Thank you, Logan. And while it wasn't the result the Profs wanted, congratulations to the field hockey team for yet another tremendous season. Rowan football looked to end its season with a bang on the road against Kane. Skylar Sweeney lets us know if the Profs ended the regular season on a high note.
Thanks, Leo and Jake. The Profs wrapped up the regular season with a strong 47-34 win, securing their third straight victory and improving to 7-3-1 on the season. Rowan jumped out to a 27-0 lead in the second quarter. Nunez Bukla opened the scoring with an 11-yard rushing touchdown, and Tyshawn Bookman followed with 2 more on the ground. Bukla also made a huge impact on special teams with a 51-yard punt return for a touchdown. Just before halftime, Jameer Rowe broke free off an 85-yard kickoff return, extending the lead to a 34-6 at the break. The team tried to rally in the second half, but Shane Martin answered with touchdown catches of 22 and 50 yards, finishing with 99 yards as the Profs offense totaled 339 on the day. Now, Rowan finishes the regular season 7-2-1 after a strong 2025 campaign. I'm Skylar Sweeney reporting from Richard Wacker Stadium with All Access with the Profs, sending it back to you guys in the studio.
Thank you, Skylar. Women's volleyball was in the midst of its NJAC title quest. Luke Brown breaks down the Profs' performance in the conference tournament.
Thanks, guys. Rowan women's volleyball closed the book on a season to remember in 2025 on Thursday with a 3-1 loss against Stockton. The Profs fell just 5 spots short in the NCAA ranking of making the NCAA tournament, and they closed the season with a staggering 12-1 home record and a lot of laughs, smiles, and tears in the process. As we reported last week, Rowan head coach Dina Jesperson passed away on November 2nd after a courageous second battle with breast cancer. Coach Jesperson's final game on the sidelines came on October 10th against St. Mary's in non-conference play. The Profs went on to honor their coach by doing what they know best, by playing volleyball with joy. Against Stockton, Rowan lost close sets of 25-23 and 25-22 in the first 2 before a convincing third set win of 25-17. The fourth set went into a long deuce, losing 28-26. Rowan's season comes to an end at 25-6 overall, and say so long to 2 seniors, Jenna Call and Vanessa Hutchinson, though they will forever be a part of Rowan volleyball and forever be remembered for the impact they made, particularly this season. From SB Gymnasium and All Access with the Profs, I'm Luke Brown.
Thanks, Luke. While Rowan couldn't get into the NCAA tournament, it was a spectacular season and a season the Profs can be proud of. Both cross-country teams headed to their respective NCAA regional and started their journey towards a national crown. Here's Joe DiGiovanni with more.
Thanks, guys. It's a big week for Rowan sports, and the men's and women's cross-country teams were no exception. This past weekend, the teams competed at the NJAC Metro Regionals at Dream Park in Logan Township. Both teams finished in the top 5, with the men's finishing 5th and the women's placing 4th. Starting off with the men, Matthew Conaway finished 7th overall, leading the Profs to a 5th place. Conaway earned a spot for the NCAA championships for finishing in the top 10. Colin Patterson finished next at 31st, and both men will join the all-region team for finishing in the top 35. For the women, Gabriela Pagano led the way, finishing 3rd place, and will join Conaway at the NCAA championships. Allie Wernick, Jazina Aponte, and Emily Zanni also finished in the top 35, earning all-region honors. The final meet of the season, the NCAA championships, will take place in Spartanburg, South Carolina on November 22nd. And I can't wait to see the Profs bring home a championship. For All Access with the Profs, I'm Joe DiGiovanni. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Joe. The fall sports teams here at Rowan have been great all season long. We've got a great show left to go here on All Access with the Profs.
That's right. Coming up next, we have the calendar segment with Ian Harper, the debate crew, and much more just after this short break. You're watching All Access with the Profs.
I wonder if you know that I want the best for you. But how long will you fight solo? I wonder if you know that we can get help. Not wondering anymore. Love, your mind.
Whether it's our stories, the warmth of our laugh, or our family's secret sauce, we all bring something different to the table. So make some space the power of connection is waiting right outside your comfort zone. Learn how you can help strengthen your community at belongingbeginswithus.org/teamup.
We are back here with All Access with the Profs. As always, I am Ian Harper, and after that whirlwind of a week last week, it is time to get into everything Rowan Athletics has in store going forward. Tomorrow night, men's basketball finally heads home for its first game at SB Gymnasium. After a few close losses, they will look to right the ship against the Johns Hopkins Blue Jays, tipping off at 6 p.m. Moving into Wednesday, we have a women's basketball game lined up for 6 p.m. with the team traveling to Center Valley, Pennsylvania to face off against DeSales. Stop me if you've heard this before, but we have another basketball game set up to follow as men's basketball goes back out on the road to square off against Delaware Valley at 7 p.m. on Thursday evening. On Friday morning, both swim teams will be back in action after a near 2-week break. The Franklin and Marshall Invitational in Lancaster, Pennsylvania begins its 3-day meet at 10 a.m., and the teams will look to keep their impressive seasons going. As always, there is a healthy chunk of weekend Profs action on deck, and we are getting it going with both cross-country teams heading down to Spartanburg, South Carolina for the NCAA National Championships. The meet will take place at Roger Milliken Center, with the start time yet to be announced. Runners Matthew Conway and Gabriela Pagano will represent the Profs at the prestigious event. The swim meet continues at 10 a.m. for the second of its 3 days at the same location. Women's basketball is set to play host to Washington College at 1 p.m., wrapping up the basketball slate for the week. We've got a bowl game on our hands, Profs faithful. Football, after an impressive 7-2-1 regular season, has been selected to play against the Utica Pioneers in the Asa S. Bushnell Bowl in New York, with kickoff set for 1 p.m. We've got some more playoff action on the slate this weekend too, as after a thrilling 2-0 victory over Wesleyan on Sunday, men's soccer will look to continue its run through the NCAA Championship, going up against the Emory Eagles at 3:30 p.m. If they're able to keep their season alive, they will advance into the Elite Eight round, set to begin on Sunday. Barring a men's soccer win, the last currently scheduled contest is the end to the Franklin and Marshall Invitational, once again at 10 a.m. on Sunday. As we continue powering through the end of the fall season and get the winter season in full swing, why don't we get tempers flaring up a little bit? With Sam Prince and the crew in Studio 2, it's time to debate.
Thank you, Ian. Welcome back to the debate segment. I'm your host, Sam Prince, and I'm alongside
What
Greg
the hell
Mazzo,
was that?
Keegan Thompson, and Gerasimus Gerasilio. The fall season, guys, is coming to an end with just the Rowan men's soccer team and the Rowan football team still alive. So, as we look back at this fall season, who is the best Rowan fall athlete? Before you guys answer, please remember to scan the QR code to pick who you think won the debate.
I am going with 2025 Offensive Player of the Year, Johnny Troiano. This season, he was terrific. 19 goals, 5 assists, 62 shots on goal, 43 points as well this season. Also, not to mention, he got it done when it mattered the most. In 5 playoff games, he's got 3 of the team's 6 goals in these playoffs between NJAC playoffs and NCAA playoffs. And currently, right now, they're still playing.
Well, not to burst your bubble there, Greg, but I'm going with Jessica Smart, the freshman sensation of the women's volleyball team this year, who took the NJAC by storm, winning Offensive Player of the Week multiple times this season, as well as the NJAC Rookie of the Year distinction. But Yuri here, who you got? You're playing through injury today.
Yeah. So here's the thing. But first off, great choices, by the way. But I have to put out there as well, even though Rowan women's soccer is out of the table here, Olivia Giordano, what a season she had. I mean, come on, 14 goals. This is actually her 4th consecutive season with double-digit scoring. Not only that, 7 assists, a career high. She not only scores the goals, she sets up the goals. Olivia Giordano is my best player of the fall.
So Noah wanted to go out Leah Ettinger, the best goalie on the campus around University.
Leah Ettinger? I mean,
Leah Ettinger.
Don't get me wrong, Leah Ettinger is great, but that's a bold statement because Travis Holiday is also.
Or no one wants to go with Travis Holiday or Tess Herman.
We talked about Travis Holiday.
No one wanted to go. Okay.
We talked about. Listen, let me get back on Troiano real quick. Okay, so you mentioned about those great numbers. I got some interesting facts right here. Okay,
let's hear it.
So Johnny Troiano this season, 2 hat tricks. Olivia Giordano has 1.
All right.
Okay.
So
and then one of the hat tricks that he had is against Messiah. Messiah is a top 25 ranked team in the country. Also, 5 multiple goal games this season for Johnny Troiano. That is very impressive. He's been unbelievable. He's been doing it on the team that he's been the best player on, and they're into the 3rd round of the NCAA playoffs, where Rowan has gone that deep since 2019. Also, the 2 picks that you have, are they still playing right now? Last time I checked, Troiano's still playing.
All right, well, let's talk about this real quick. We expect Giordano to do well. We expect Johnny Troiano to do well. They were both NJAC Offensive Players of the Year last year. Johnny Troiano won it again this year. We expect them to do well. Jessica Smart, a complete unknown, comes in as a freshman, leads the team in kills by nearly 100. The next best player had 241 behind her, which was Abby Chadwick. And as a freshman, she did incredibly well. She had 9 more kills than Jenna Call last year with fewer sets played. She had the most kills on the team in 2 seasons with a 3.61 kills per set ratio and hits almost 3 from the, I mean, that's a great percentage. This is the best record that the team has had since 2021. We expect that Johnny Troiano is going to do well. We expect that Olivia Giordano is going to do well. But Jessica Smart took the NJAC by storm, was an NJAC first teamer as a rookie, which is frankly outstanding.
Well, what I didn't expect, obviously we knew Olivia Giordano was going to be great this year, but she had a different effect on the Rowan women's soccer team. Let me just paint a picture. First off, I do have to mention that hat trick that she scored got her 50th goal in her entire Rowan tenure, and it was on senior night. So, by the way, shout out to Olivia Giordano, great moment there. But what I didn't expect was how much of a factor she'd be every game. Because if you watch that NJAC championship and you watch those 2 NCAA games, do you see how beat up she got? All the attention was on her, which opened up opportunities for her entire team. That is how talented Olivia Giordano is. All the calls went against her, all the hits went towards her, and she still persevered.
All right, guys. Mazza's her first to burst her bubble here. I know you guys wanted to keep on talking, but that's all. We ran out of time, guys, here. I know you guys want to keep on rebuttaling. Who was the best Rowan fall athlete here at Rowan? And remember, please, please, please scan the QR code for who you picked the winner of the debate. For more news around the NJAC, you can go to Shane Alexa. We'll have you covered.
Welcome back to another week of Around the NJAC. My name is Shane Alexa. To start it off, let's look at men's soccer. The Profs are officially moving on to the Sweet 16 of the NCAA Division III tournament after beating number 11 ranked Wesleyan. The Profs currently represent the NJAC in the men's soccer tournament. However, Rutgers Newark just advanced in the ECAC tournament, so there are multiple teams for fans of the NJAC and Division III soccer to turn into. However, Rowan women's soccer fell to Penn State Harrisburg, and Montclair State fell to Colby College last weekend. So unfortunately, no NJAC team will be holding that NCAA tournament trophy for women's soccer. Football's regular season ended this past weekend with Montclair State beating William-Patterson, and of course, with the Profs knocking off Kane. However, the Profs are not done yet. They will play Utica in a Division III bowl game this weekend. Turning to women's volleyball, Kane won its first NJAC volleyball championship since 2018. They defeated Stockton and will head to the NCAA tournament to represent the NJAC. Kane hit 372 as a squad and were led by Kaylee Elena Morrison, who led the team with 16 kills. Kane drew LaSalle University in round 1 of the tournament and will go on to face Tufts University at 4:30 on Thursday in Medford, Massachusetts. Looking at men's basketball, both the Profs and Rutgers Camden play tonight. Rutgers Camden is currently playing Penn State Abington, while the Profs will take on Johns Hopkins. As I like to say, it's never too early to look at standings, so why don't we look at those standings and the NJAC? Montclair State and William-Patterson lead the division and are still undefeated, but of course there's a long way to go left in the season. On the other hand, let's look at women's basketball. Both Kane and Rutgers Newark play tonight, with Kane currently taking on Brooklyn College and Rutgers Newark visiting Keystone College. Montclair State, William-Patterson, and Stockton are all undefeated and are atop the division. Last but certainly not least is swimming. However, there are no matches scheduled until this Friday. Currently, Merchant State is atop the division with a 5-0 record in both women and men's conferences. But that will do it for this week's edition of Around the NJAC. Once again, my name is Shane Alexa, but for now, let's send it over to Nolan Dow, who has more on men's basketball.
Thanks, Shane. Men's basketball continued the start of their season this weekend with 2 close games against Mary Washington and Drew, but would end up dropping both of them. In the first game last Wednesday, the Profs had a battle with Mary Washington, where Bryson Williams led the Profs in scoring with 28 points and a 94-87 overtime loss to the Eagles. The Profs shot 16 of 38 from 3, but a total of 17 turnovers would haunt them. On Saturday, Rowan faced a similar fate with a 95-92 loss to the Drew Rangers. Once again, Williams led the Profs in scoring with 27, followed by Taz Canty with 19 and Khalil Baker with 18. Rowan also had 17 turnovers in this game. The Profs dropped to 0-3 on the season, but that ends their road trip. From SB Gymnasium, I'm Nolan Dow with All Access with the Profs. Back to you guys in the studio.
Great work, Nolan. Fingers crossed men's basketball can get a dub soon. Women's basketball had its first home game this past week, and to find out if they took care of business, here's Brett Gardner with more.
Thanks, guys. Last week, Rowan hosted the Delaware Valley Aggies in their first home game of the year. Rowan defeated the Aggies to notch their first win of the season. The Profs were out in front the entire game, led by Natalia Barrera, who led the team with 17 points and 10 rebounds. The Rowan offense was on fire the entire game by having 3 players scoring double-digit points, and Barrera with 17, Charlotte Carlisle, and Jess Mastriano scoring 10 points each. At one point, Rowan led the Aggies by 22 points with 8 minutes left to go in the third quarter. The Profs would hold on to the win, with the final score being 64-54. The Rowan women's basketball team is now 1-1 on the season, and they look to continue their winning ways next week. Recording from SB Gymnasium, I'm Brett Garner from All Access with the Profs. Back to you guys in the studio.
Thanks, Brett. It's been one heck of a show so far, and I think that if I had to give my favorite part about this show, I mean, look at that debate, man. That was fantastic. Great points from all those guys. The field reports have been great, and obviously around the NJAC and the calendar segment have been terrific as well. But if I had to pick one segment that I think has stood out, it's got to be that debate team, man.
Yeah, I can't argue with that, Jake. I thought they had a brilliant argument that they made with all 3 of their players. It was fantastic. But the calendar around the NJAC and the other field reports we got, just spectacular stuff.
Yeah, they certainly were. And, I mean, Leo, all of this has been great, but I sense a sprinkle of magic coming our way. Jacob Michaud has his Magic Minute ready to go. Take it away, Jacob.
Thanks, Jake. I'm Jacob Michaud, back with another week of my Magic Minute. And if you notice, about magically 60% of my hair is gone now. So that's one thing to note. Anyways, men's soccer's magic run lives to see another week as they have continued to dominate when the stakes are at their highest. The first round of the NCAA tournament ended in yet another 1-0 victory, punching the Profs' ticket to the second round against Wesleyan, a team that had won 8-1 in the first round. The Profs reigned victorious yet again, winning 2-0 to advance to the Sweet 16. Let's take a look now at those 2 goals from that game. Wow, great shot of Jake and Leah there. Okay, here we go. And you see a boot downfield, and now here you go. All right, he's giving it to the goalie, and what happened there? Asanji there to just tap it in, and my goodness, I would have thought that Alex Russo from Wizards of Waverly Place put some Tom Noonan kinesis on that one or something. Made the ball go a separate direction there. I still don't know what happened, but regardless, the goalie could not pick that up cleanly, and Asanji there to tap it in to make it 1-0. Let's look at the next one now. And now it's McGuigan with the long ball. They've been great with the long ball. Gives it to Troiano, who was onside, and again slips right through the goalie's hands. And Troiano with a big goal to give them a 2-0 cushion just over a minute into the second half. And that would be all they need, as again they would go on to win 2-0. 2 great plays there. It's truly magical to think that just a month ago, this team was unsure if they would even have a spot in this NCAA tournament. And now, just like that, they are in the Sweet 16, riding a 5-game clean sheet streak. That'll be all for me this week, but this magical episode of All Access with the Profs will continue with Jordan Weisinger. Take it away, Jordan.
I'm Jordan Weisinger, and welcome back to the weekly sports news segment. Week 12 for the college football season had everything from Texas A&M coming back down from 30-3 to win 31-30 over South Carolina, and an upset win in Tuscaloosa from number 11 Oklahoma over number 4 Alabama. The AP Top 25 has a new look, with 4 new teams being added from 22 to 25, including North Texas at 22, who was ranked for the first time since 1959. They are in the mix for the college football playoff as they currently sit with the second highest G5 odds at 38%. They are only behind James Madison and the Dukes, who sit at 52% among G5 odds, after their big 58-10 win over App State. The college football playoff rankings for Week 13 will be announced tonight at 8:30. Portugal is officially headed back to the World Cup after their 9-1 win over Armenia. They topped Group F with a 4-1-1 record, and with that, Cristiano Ronaldo joins Lionel Messi as the only 2 players to qualify for a 6th World Cup tournament. Both Ronaldo and Messi are expected to play this summer in the Tri-Country Games. Soccer fans thought 2022 would be the last time they would see these two on the biggest stage, but now it is looking like 2026 will be the last dance and potentially the last chance Ronaldo has at finally winning the World Cup. Now to MLB award season, where it's over and the most valuable players have been revealed for both the American and National League. Shohei Ohtani and Aaron Judge both go back-to-back and now together combine for 7 MVP awards, with Ohtani having 4 and Judge with 3. Ohtani won the award unanimously, slashing .282, .392, and .622 with a career-high 55 homers, a .172 WRC+, a 2.87 ERA, and a 9.4 F-WAR. Judge won the award by a narrow 17-13 margin over Cal Raleigh, who had a historic season for a catcher, hitting 60 home runs. However, Judge's 2025 wasn't just position-based excellence, it was league excellence. He led all of MLB in batting average while hitting 50 homers. The only other players in history to do that were Hall of Famers Jimmy Fox and Mickey Mantle. On the season, Judge slashed .333, .457, and .688 with his third season of a 200-plus WRC+ with .204 and 10-plus F-WAR with 10.1. That's all I have for you this week in the world of professional sports. Now let's send it back to Jake and Leo to wrap up the show.
Thanks, Jordan. It was not a good week for my fantasy team. They put up 0 combined touchdowns as a team between everybody. But on the other hand, I heard the Eagles. They had a really good week. Back-to-back primetime victories. Can't beat that.
Yeah, the Birds picked up big wins against great teams in the Detroit Lions and the Green Bay Packers. And I mean, speaking of fantasy football, though, Eagles star wide receiver A.J. Brown told everyone, you have him on your fantasy roster, you should trade him. Maybe your fantasy teams would be better if you did trade for him, because I've got a feeling his production is going to go up.
You know, Jake, unfortunately, he really would not made much of a difference. I started Sean Tucker, Buccaneers running back, and no, I do not mean our world-class athletic director, Sean Tucker here at Rowan. 2 different spellings.
Yeah, Sean with an E is the running back that you benched. But I had a tough week in fantasy, too, going against the different running back. Going against Travion Henderson didn't help, but I must say the Patriots look really great this year with Drake May at the helm.
You know, lucky for me, I didn't have to go up against any of those guys. But lucky for us, we are on the same team as our wonderful Rowan athletes. That's all the time we have tonight. Thank you for tuning in to All Access with the Profs. For Jake Clark and myself, Leo West, have a great night, and as always, go Profs!